very triggered.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it wearing any recognizable insignia?
Oh
It's
God.
it's face down, so you don't see anything on its back.
It's wearing a helmet, right?
Yeah.
Remove the helmet.
Can I tell how long he's been dead?
Not from 10 feet away.
Oh,
Wearing a
I'm
wearing
next.
full.
Here.
Ah,
All right, you're gonna examine the body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You walk over and crouch down, and as Gwen moves to touch the body, it itself moves and tries to reach out at you, grab
Ah.
you.
I am in range. I'm going to.
Don't wait.
I'm going. Oh God.
Being pinned, it can't pull itself away from the rocks, but
Okay.
it reaches at Gwen, and you can see through it's got one of those like open helmets. You can see the very gray skin of a dead-looking dwarf with black eyes.
The
Yeah.
fuck?
Halberd strike.
Okay.
Halberd strike.
It can't move, and it's only has melee, so you could just hit it until it's dead, and yeah, we'll just you don't need to roll damage. It'll die sooner or later. You'll hit it enough, and you strike it until it stops moving.
And
The
then
skull's in the
Oh,
top
I
right.
was muted.
ask
Doesn't move.
ask very nicely. Ambrose, could you please get that goo off my blade?
Don't use fire.
Ambrose snaps his fingers and prestidigitates it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did it look like the infected from Brinmelon?
Yes, it was tree infected.
A lot worse. A lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was I look over at Althea and at Gwen. And I said, "That was exhilarating, wasn't it?"
Yes, wonderful.
The,
Althea shudders.
Hmm.
Gwen,
presumably, the
what do we
dwarf's been
learn?
like that for a very long time since he didn't decay into a skeleton. Ugh.
Breach and clear room sweep. Phalanx time, I guess.
Okay, shall we go into the room?
Yeah.
All right. Check the door. Is it locked or unlocked?
It is so old that if it were locked, I mean it's locked, but it's like rusted, so you can just sort of bust it.
Okay.
Whack it.
Kick the door open.
Okay.
Wow.
Inside is an octagonal room that has a table and a very well detailed topographical map.
Ooh. Go in, and I will make room for everybody else.
All right. It's easy to do that. It's quite a big room. You
All right.
Ooh.
Any threats in the room besides, well, Gwen?
nice.
What?
Is she?
We left Jaxar on the tunnel.
He's sentry moding. You can see his name tag. Yeah.
Oh.
He's not. He's not playing. He's a sentry guy. He was just his plan was to watch
Yeah.
to make sure you can still hear the heavy thudding of the golem hitting the door.
Oh.
He's in voyeur mode.
Whoa.
Exactly. He likes to watch.
All right, everybody say map on 3.
Map on 3?
3.
Map.
Map on 3.
Hey, map.
Whoa, hey.
Hey, map arena.
I'm the map. I'm the map.
The map software I used to make the good looking one went kaput, and so I'm having to rebuild that one. So you guys get
I like
a poorly drawn map today.
Okay.
This map was made by an elven child in finger paints.
It's not horrible.
No, it's very well done for a finger painted map by an elven child. I like it.
I'm not very good at maps, so I think this is pretty impressive.
There's a bunch of dwarven names set into the map. It's like it's not a piece of parchment. It's in a sculpted out topographical map that has like elevations and depressions. The forests are like actually trees that have been carved into the table.
So,
It looks very like
this is a
Game of
3D map
Thrones intro.
on in the table.
Yes.
We
Yes.
can't take this with us unless we take the table.
That's accurate.
Okay.
I must find some way to like shave it off of the table.
Somebody take a picture.
No
In
screenshots.
your
I'll
mind.
I'll pull up my phone and take a picture of it
Oh.
for later use.
I have a cartographer's kit. Can I like make a copy of it?
I don't see why not.
Yay!
You do have the tools to do it, so.
There's no big "You are here" button, is there?
Well, actually, speaking of, but you look around the map some more, and you do see some odd dials and levers set into the table.
Huh. Do we want to let Jonas get a quick sketch at least?
Before you-
start touching
before-
things.
Before we start messing with things, let's at least.
Well, I mean, we don't even know if this is the right area, so
No.
you might.
This is
sketch
the
it.
world anvil. You pull a lever, and it's just an earthquake in
Oh.
or in a fantasy life.
Turn one of those knobs just like very slightly.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Jonas do it so he doesn't get mad at me.
I'll turn one of the knobs very slightly.
Okay.
Aren't you-
Well,
aren't you
Tonus can read Dwarven, right?
I can read Dwarven.
So can I.
There's etchings in the levers and knobs. They're very old. It's like an old dialect, but you can still read it fairly well. One knob says, actually, it's actually on the map itself. One knob says Karave. Karave. I don't know how to pronounce it. Stupid dwarvish.
Didn't you make up the word?
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna say Karave. Another knob says Domadur, and the third says
Dumbledore.
Thagrim.
Well, that leads me to assume that it's a zoom for those specific areas. Let's do the Karav knob.
Okay.
Wait, do we recognize the? Isn't Domador on one of our older maps? Oh, it's gone. That map is gone. It's gone forever.
What?
I thought Domador was on one of our older maps, like as a border.
Oh, which map are you thinking of?
The old world map that you showed us. It wasn't really. It was a world map, but it was just of like our duchy or something. The duchy where we started.
Mm,
Isn't
the
that
one that was like
African?
in this style.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to be seeing tokens on the map now?
Yep,
Oh, okay.
you did a. I shouldn't have said dials. You did a lever, the Krav lever, and you see 4 tokens. One is actually so as when you pull the lever, marching out from the edges of the map are figures. There's 3 groups of dwarves that move out towards those 3 spots, and then a largish bluish dragon. I say bluish because it is sculpted to represent. Suppose it's, or you could assume that it's sculpted to represent an actual dragon, and it does not look the same as the blue dragon you met upstairs.
But can Gwen tell? Is it a blue dragon?
I mean, so the dragon is. It's got bluish protrusions coming out of its back and on its legs, but it's not covered in blue scales like the blue dragon is. Most of it is a sort of grayish.
Does that mean they're old? Does that mean it's
So it's not a blue dragon, but it is a really big one. If you compare it to the size of the dwarven groups.
It's a progenitor.
okay? So
Roll a history check and add proficiency since it's a dragon.
I don't know how to add. Oh, so would it be 2? Add 2.
Yeah, I think that you guys are still at 2, right?
So history plus 2, I guess. So 13.
Uh, could be a sapphire dragon.
Ooh.
Okay, cool.
Which
So
were
she'll kind of like mutter that out loud. It looks like it could be a sapphire dragon.
And in fact, you guys passed a mural in the hall on the way into this room, and it
Of a dragon.
actually looks remarkably like the dragon in the mural.
What's a sapphire dragon?
It's a
Johnny's asking, what's a sapphire dragon? When?
it's one of the oldest dragon types. The gem dragons were hunted down and killed by the dragon toters.
Which is exactly what Gwen will say.
Rude.
Dang, dude.
Dwarves do like their gems.
So, was it a dragon made of sapphires, or did it just look like sapphires?
Well, it's got sapphire-like protrusions coming out of it, on its back and legs, and it doesn't have claws. Its feet, for lack of better words, almost look like a horse's might, where it just comes down into like a mostly flat toenail.
It's like a big version of the crystal lizards from Dark Souls 3.
Oh, okay.
So
Sure.
maul you by rolling on you?
I mean,
Have you ever
I'm sure
been
if it
stepped on
steps
by a
you-
horse?
What was that? Crystal lizards from Dark Souls?
Dark
Is that
Souls
what I heard?
3.
Yeah, Dark Souls 3, there's like big chunky versions of the crystal lizards that show up, and
Oh, that's funny.
they're kind of what you're describing.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's got 4 legs instead of 8.
Giant
Yeah.
murder iguanas.
Wait, which one has 8?
It looks like the crystal lizards. I just searched crystal lizards Dark Souls, and it has
Oh.
8 legs.
They got
The
a
little
bunch.
ones do.
They
I
do
don't know how many the big
skittering.
ones do. I think the big ones have regular size legs. If you're searching, do ravenous crystal lizard. Oh, they do have little middle arms. You're right. I never noticed that before.
Okay, so this thing
Actually,
makes its way over to this Kernborum area on the map.
yes. I don't know why I didn't just prepare this as a stupid handout. Here you go.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
Does that show
What
up?
the heck?
Doesn't look like it.
If
I
you
do
look
not
at
see it.
downloaded, you can see it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. That's.
You're talking about the dragon?
Yeah.
Here you go. I can't see it.
You click
if
the
you go-
link, it downloads it, and then you can look at it.
What link?
The one that you just put in Discord.
Oh, sorry, I'm on Roll20.
I have no idea what a JFIF file is, but
Mine's a
GIF.
JPEG.
It's a GIF.
a JFIF.
You have it when you're drinking your kafifi.
Haha.
There you go.
Oh, so is this what it looks like?
Yep.
Oh,
Dragon
interesting.
Oh,
It's
it's
a
got
dragon.
kind of stumpy, like, elephant
very
feet.
aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah, elephant feet. That's what I was thinking. Not like horse. That was silly.
Clompers.
How long has it been since we've like are sapphire dragons still around? Does Gwen know?
Not in this area.
So how long has it been since sapphire dragons have been in this area?
Supposedly the dragon toters killed the last one about 2,500 years ago.
Alrighty. So relay that information to the party as well. So what is the map doing?
You actually also know that those ducal rings that you've been seeing, the sapphire ones are made from the sapphire dragon scales.
Does that just like hit her right as she's looking at this map?
Yes.
Oh, that's terrible.
What?
I guess I should prepare the pictures for the other dragons.
That's terrible. The
I mean,
the
they might
rings
be
we've
fine.
been seeing that have the sapphires in them, the sapphires are taken from the dragons.
Oh, that's pretty lame.
Bullshit. Yeah.
To put it mildly.
Taken from them after they're killed, or like we did with the griffin hairs?
No, they're called the Draken Totters. Probably after they were killed.
What are these other little tokens here?
Ping one. It's a
They
dwarf
all-
army.
They all look the same. Are they all dwarf armies?
Yes.
What
They should have
happened?
the name of the army on there as well.
Buzz Dawn, Army of the First Light. Oh, okay, wait. Army of the First Light, and the dragon's name is Zevez of the First Light.
Yep.
The First Light. That sounds familiar.
Correlation. Derbholun. Yeah, do we have a map of like our current area?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can throw you on that real quick.
Does any of this topography look similar? Is it recognizable as anything that we're actually in?
Mountains, tower, weird ravine. River next to mountains. Yes, which is back maybe.
You guys are on the good map.
Mm-hmm.
On the Dundalk map. Aha!
Is this
I
where we are
see
from?
that the crevasse.
Let's see,
Those are the
Those are
Talavas cliffs. It's a large cliff face that spans hundreds.
So it's like a
hundreds
wall.
of miles.
Oh yeah. Okay, there's like a wall on the map you drew. I remember seeing
Yes.
it in like the.
Yeah, this.
over here by
Here.
Narthorum. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right there. Well, wait. There's also one here.
Oh.
Hey, Jacob,
Calabas.
Yep.
can you remind me where I found you said I saved some text you sent me. It says the one underneath the keep of the tree is presumably called the one called the light. Where did I see which one are we talking about?
Oh, that's the mural out in the hall.
Okay. Okay. So can somebody turn these dials again? Like Tonus, turn the dial again.
I'll do the Dometer one.
Yeah, because figure if we add this from divider, that's another grand.
I was gonna say actually do the same one again and see if the armies move closer to the.
I think it's kind of like a toggle on and off thing.
Oh, right. They're not dials. They're levers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking on the map for the "You Are Here" button.
There doesn't seem to be one. Aside from the three levers that correspond to the names on the map, there's one for what would be like the equivalent of enemies, and one that is like radar, for lack of better terms.
If I remember from the other map correctly, there was a tower with a river right at the north part of it.
This
So this
is
would make sense.
this is an old map before the duchies got here,
Yeah, but
before the humans got
longitude,
here, the
the
Drakentolders.
longitude shouldn't have changed, right?
Right.
Push
The
them up and
major
not.
the major topographical features should not have changed dramatically.
Yeah, so that up there in that Nar Telavase is Wigmore.
Possibly.
No,
That's my
that's
suspicion, but yeah.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
And in Dwarvish, the Nar just stands for like fort or stronghold.
Okay. So go back to the other map, please.
Can you put it next to each other? Is there a way to do that?
Can we get a side by side?
Yeah, I'm saying that's. And then there's the two mountains on the sides. That's 100% Nard Talavas.
Yeah.
We're here, right?
Yes. Yep. The group token is that thing.
Oh, that's okay.
We're pretty close to a set of
What gives you guys
mountains.
move around?
There was that other thing that I thought was a wall that might be the other set of mountains. So there's a river.
That would have been another cliff face.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was muted, and that would be over this in this basic
Be
area.
presumably somewhere over here, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got Short River, and there's the windy, curvy river that comes from up there. So we need to figure out which tower is next to the windy, curvy river near the tower. In theory.
Right. That one right there.
Probably that one right there. Even though, well, wait, okay. The other map has the river running from like this way. So I would think it would actually maybe be this one. No, you're probably right. Yeah, it's next to the mountains here, but the river's
Yeah,
running the wrong
yeah,
direction.
because we had to cross the river to get
The other
to
one was
the
kind of
tower.
like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you think okay? So maybe it was rerouted intentionally.
So is it possible that this is the tree of spring, and this is the tree of autumn? Those are the two towers.
I was not with
So
you.
that
for
would
the
be
other
like Bryn.
towers.
So that
No,
would be like
the-
Bryn Melon.
Tree of Spring, Bryn Melon is right on the river.
Yeah.
Bryn Melon just like across the river here.
Right, and that's when I'm like, okay, that's
But remember, Bryn Melon is a much younger city compared to this map. It's not going to be.
true.
And Kern Borum is.
Wait, hey.
Go ahead.
Didn't the kobolds were talking about a dragon horde in the mountains, wasn't he?
To the west.
Can we get the Thegrim lever?
Yeah, I was going to say, can we flip that third lever?
There are 5 total.
Okay, let's flip them all.
What are the names of all of them?
So aside from the 3 named that seemingly correspond to regions,
Mm-hmm.
I'll set this one. There are 2 more. One is like enemies, and the other is, for lack of better terms, radar, or like a ping of the area for large groups of large soldiers, large groups of soldiers.
If we hit the one that indicates large groups, would it also perhaps reveal town, or what are towns now?
No, Althea, this is the civilization that was conquered.
But
I
it's
understand
saying radar.
that.
They might have some kind of technology or magic that would update the map according to modern finding.
Right. Do we feel confident trying one of those?
Hold on.
Scroll
Hey,
this one down.
hey, Jacob, does Gwen know who these dragons are?
No.
All right. Time to write down their names.
Too long ago.
All right, well, but she can ask.
Mm-hmm. Aside from the 5 levers, there is a button that just says Doom Engine.
Oh, I like that one.
Let's not
Doom,
touch
like
that.
DOOM.
Yes.
Let's not touch that one.
Oh
Doomy,
my.
doomy, doom, doom.
I also want to direct your attention to this mountain here. The sculpture makes it look like a volcano.
I was wondering if that was volcano.
The army of the first light.
So, should we presume that there are other similar structures to this at these other places?
I don't think we can make any assumptions.
Hmm.
Hope I wrote that name down. Is that Oirdan, top left?
Yes.
You. And Dathl?
Dathi.
I.
So the other dragons are not like the sapphire dragon. One is the one to the east, Dathi, is a ruby dragon, and Oridon is emerald.
Okay.
But they have similar structures in that they're not, covered in emeralds. They have sort of protrusions all on their bodies. Couldn't find good pictures for them.
Very interesting. I guess Gwen wasn't paying attention to her history lessons.
If there is even history on these.
There would be for her.
Oh.
It was a few millennia ago.
I would also just like to point out Ambrose is beyond lost at this point. They didn't have like history class in the cave, so he's
Actually,
just kind of looking at the pretty map right now.
I should modify what Gwen knows. Gwen wouldn't know about Dathi or Oridon, but Zevis is a very prominent figure in the past. The dwarves of Krav worshipped her like a god. And it took many generations for the Dracantoters to bring her down.
So was it like basically it was the ancient version of like a holy war against her? Is that what it ended up being? Like crusades to bring down a false god type thing?
It is one of those sapphires.
They yes, in some ways that's why the Dracantoters found and slaughtered dragons wherever they could.
Were the clans involved?
This is a bit north of the clan, so they weren't involved in these conflicts.
Okay.
It'd be like Londoners being involved in like Scottish wars in the 600s.
I gotcha. It's basically another planet.
Yeah, this is modeled after like the UK to a certain extent.
So they boiled all their food.
Yeah.
Nana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
so at
you.
this point I will take this down as a map.
You will what?
I will create a map with the armies and dragons marked
Okay.
on it.
All right. You have 2 more levers as well as the Doom engine button.
You said radar and enemies. Let's do. You want to do enemies? Enemies, maybe?
I'd say hit the radar one first.
All right, we'll hit the radar one first.
Okay. You watch as all of the figures currently on the board begin to stroll back towards the edges and into the depths of the map. It should be about here, and then one near the mountain, the volcano as well. So you see a bunch of humans stride out in groups. One along the river, one here, and then over here is a group of what look like dead dwarves, skeletal in nature.
Oh,
And
weird.
what's the giant token? A different dragon?
Yes, there is also a token of a dragon that comes out. This one is just a standard blue dragon, much smaller than Zevis was, but still pretty big.
Huh.
So maybe the bastard wasn't lying.
The one upstairs?
If you are under the impression that you're here, then not likely.
Starting to rethink
Well,
that.
I mean, not the same one, but maybe like an offspring or something.
Oh, okay. Oh, but actually I should have also done this.
Ooh.
Ah, that was great. Ah.
Oh, we found the "You Are Here" button.
Yeah, apparently.
I think in this situation, our big brains were the "You Are Here" button.
Big brain plays.
200 IQ map
For
reading skill.
days. Interesting. So now we know its name.
Ooh, really? Hold on, let me write those down.
Does knowing the name of a dragon give you dominion over it or something?
No.
Yes, it gives you the right to be turned into a crispy critter.
It was a little fellow. We could-
But
we
he
could've
probably won't be happy that I know his name without him telling me. Is that Zirdaic?
S at the end.
My eyesight is fine.
I wonder if I...
Thank you.
Nope, sure doesn't. Okay. I was wondering if it would blow up the name as well, but it didn't. And also a group of elves in the forest to the northwest.
Is there a sigil?
There's not. But if what you think you know about this map is correct, that's deep into the wastes.
There's a lot that's deep into the wastes.
That looks like a forest, which I wouldn't think would be in the waste.
This was.
I haven't
earlier,
heard of
though.
those forest wastes.
It may not have been the wastes back then.
Right.
Oh, good point.
True.
Because remember, if this is back in the time of the Dragon Toter,
Ah.
that's what we're talking about here. This was thousands of years ago. We don't know how old is the waste anyway. How long has it been?
Centuries.
Centuries versus thousands of years. There you go.
Right.
It's kind of like the Sahara Desert type situation.
Do we know what caused it to become the waste?
Too many sweets, not enough exercise.
Not really. There's no real concurrence on why. Just that some plague came out from the west, and for whatever reason. Oh no, actually, this you guys might know that to stave off the encroachment of the corrupted area, some time ago, a cabal of wizards carved a swath of land out by running a river down it.
Okay, so that's why the rivers on the map don't coincide with what we know. I was wondering if there'd been a redirection of the waterways.
It was a tremendous amount of magical power that went into it.
Okay,
Whether we wanted it or not.
that makes sense.
Okay, can I do like a... Oh, what is it called? I think here. An archaeologist that specializes in dwarven ruins, like, oh, this has a different name now that I'm familiar with, or like just in general, these other towers.
Oh, like this is we call this the ruins of such and such.
Yes.
I mean, you would know that there are ruins near that forest. That forest is not on the map that I made in Roll20, so just give me a second. Here's my paper map that I've been using. Claverley. It's the Forest of Claverley. So you know there are ruins there, dwarven ruins.
And we know the modern name of Nar Talvase just from the other map,
Is Wigmore.
Wigmore.
You know
will-
the dwarven ruins there as well. There was an old fortress there.
In parentheses, I will put their modern names on the map I made.
Okay. Anything west of the river, though, no one's really explored because
Like this area?
people that go there die. Yep.
Because wastes.
Yes. You know that approximately people that venture more than 2 days or so into the wastes don't usually come back.
Would this chasm here likely be the one near that town that we first saw, where Althea and Havelock met up with everybody? There's a bridge over a huge chasm, if I remember correctly.
I think he said that was a cliff there.
The ravine that you're
Oh, that's
Yeah.
gonna be over
that you're
here.
thinking of is actually splitting Narthorum in two.
Oh, okay.
You've seen a lot of the old fortress down in the bottom of that ravine.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
This cliff face doesn't exist as far as you know anymore.
Okay.
Well, did that cliff face become part of the river redirect going basically along?
That's
Ah,
that's a good guess.
yeah, I'm figuring that if they did that, it was going to be outside the habitable areas. So kind of they took how did you do that quick? Yeah. Yeah, so basically they took these waterways and redirected them to become a barrier against everything that was to the west of it. And that's why I'm thinking that Narthorum is across the river from this potentially being Bryn Mawr or a settlement that might have become Bryn Mawr.
I don't think Bryn Mawr is next to a cliff.
Well, no, he said the cliff disappeared. And if they were
No,
using magic to
he's
redirect the waterways, that might have also eliminated the cliff.
he said as far as we're aware, it no longer exists,
Okay.
which just means we haven't been there yet. It might still be there. You might be right. That might be where Bryn Mawr is now.
This looks like
Well, because
pretty
this
spot on where Bryn Mawr was.
well, because this is where we are if Xerdes is the bitty blue dragon. And Bryn Mawr should then in theory be over here because that's where it is on the other map. Only I think that the other map is slightly canted off from this one. I don't think this one is necessarily true
Right.
north-south.
Right. Which is what I'm struggling with, is the orientation is a little
Yeah,
different.
it's a little wonky, which is why I wish that I could have done this in was it, campaign cartographer, so that it would have been better. But
Right.
you guys have the idea though.
Yeah.
The other
Bryn,
map. Oh, go ahead.
the other map.
Yeah. It's probably Womborn. Oh no, it's Kingsdale. that other big group of humans is probably Kingsdale.
Up further, up further
Yeah.
north from where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kingsdale or Leto Keep. Hard to tell exactly where because there's not a the human structure isn't there on this map, on the dwarf map. You guys have been to these mountains though, and there you didn't find. Well, some of you have. You didn't find any river on your way in.
Can you go back to the old map?
Can you put them both on the screen at the same time?
Is there any way?
I wish.
Well, yeah,
Um,
because if that is the case, and we've been to those mountains,
Well, it's-
this waterway here is part of the redirect that
Oh.
went north.
also there's no river.
as far as from your travel, you didn't see this river,
Right.
or this swampy area.
Right. So what I'm trying to
Or this forest.
hang on. So what I'm saying, or what I'm trying to say is that this river got redirected. It joined this river and went up that way. So this one here, Dog Hollow, and this one became this.
I guess it depends on where their sources are.
They would have been in the mountains.
Yeah, so
If-
then that doesn't make any that
But we're talking about an immense expenditure of magic.
Yes.
you can move sources of rivers.
Or create a new one. I don't know.
You can redirect irrigation pathways without magic.
Yeah, but
The river
For
now flows
sure.
like this though.
Okay,
Oh, it flows down. So they probably just found a new source up north.
right.
it's
So
possible.
But then what did
these
they do
two
with these two?
don't flow at all down from the mountains.
Maybe they dried up or they froze because those mountains were unnaturally cold.
They could have redirected them down the other side of the mountain.
It was
That too.
unnaturally cold up there. That is
Yeah.
true.
And that's one of the places we have to go back to.
Oh boy. Okay. What else do we need to flip on this map?
The
Enemy.
enemies.
Huh.
And Doom Engine. Don't forget about Doom Engine.
Enemies and Doom Engine, yes.
I wonder if Doom Engine might not be a bad one to leave alone.
Could
Maybe
it be
maybe
a
that one should leave it
mistranslation?
alone.
Apocalypse Engine, maybe.
Oh, that's worse. Okay.
Black
It's not the
Friday
button that
sale?
gives us super cool weapons that we can
Wait a
start
minute.
an
If it's an
apocalypse
apocalypse engine, how else would you guys describe the stuff in the wastes? If it gives us more information on this plague.
But
Oh.
but the
He's
question
making good points.
is that lever a topographical information lever, or is it a trigger for an apocalypse engine?
Well,
So
the
the-
rest
That's
of them.
my concern.
The Doom Engine is a button.
Huh. Is
The
it
only other
big?
lever is the enemy's lever.
Well, let's flip that one first. See what it does.
Let's do the enemy's lever first.
Okay.
Is it?
When you
It-
flip, when you pull that one, the radar one, for lack of better terms, is pushed in the off position, just as part
Oh,
of
okay.
pulling the enemy's one. So all of those head back into the base of the table. The only ones that come out for the enemy's one are in the south.
What the heck is that thing?
The Drachentorter army still exists?
What the heck is the Terror of the East?
You've seen him before.
I have seen him before.
In Discord. I sent this picture like a couple of days ago, or maybe weeks ago.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, I see it.
That would be that's farther down south. That's kind of where. How far south are the clans?
Gwen, what is this clan you speak of?
The Elvish clans.
Hey.
Like 300 miles.
So off the map, further south.
Oh yeah, yeah. On this map, they'd be at like another 200 miles from the furthest southern portion.
Okay. So this is still too far north for what? Okay, but what I guess what I'm trying to say is like because Althea and I know Kopish, where is that southern region that is it this southern region? Does it coincide with this? As far as we can tell?
No, not at all.
Is it farther south or farther north? It would probably be farther south, actually. That's a stupid question.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I guess I was just wondering if it might have coincided with that asshole of a duke.
Asshole of a what?
A duke.
Oh, that guy.
But it's probably on the wrong side of the wastes, actually. So that might be an undead army now.
I have a theory
Oh,
that
really?
I
Well-
kind of want to test.
Well, Gwen, considering we saw an undead army at the volcano-looking mountain in the last iteration with the radar. Since you mentioned undead armies, that's what we kind of saw in the lower left-hand corner. Just wanted to point that one out to you.
It was a group of skeletal dwarves. You think that means they were undead?
Well, yeah.
Huh.
Just looking at it. What else would you call it? Seriously.
That's a good question. I don't know why they would have showed up on the radar if they were just dead.
Saying. Johnny just kind of sits back and keeps watching.
Okay. What's your...
While they're, sorry, Jacob. While they're all doing their brainstorming, I'm identifying that bag. That's what he's been doing for.
Oh yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. I actually have the time now.
There was time. Anyways.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That is a bag of holding.
Outstanding. Wanted to be sure it wasn't a bag of devouring with bait inside of it.
Devouring of you're very sad now.
What? What's your... What did you want to do, Tonist?
I have a theory. I have a feeling that there is going to be a similar map to this in the other towers, in that in my brain this is going to work like the way the Halos work in Halo, where you have to activate all of them before it actually does the Doom thing, and just pressing this button here won't actually do anything. But
it'll just be a +1 integer on a thing that needs like 6 or 7.
Yes. So my suggestion is we don't press the button and check the other towers at some point.
Another translation for the Doom engine could be the Doom instrument or the Doom weapon.
The Doomsday device.
I sent a picture to Discord. It's very poor, but the red circle is where Kopesh is.
Oh, it's sideways.
Oh, so it is.
Like,
Sucks
woo.
to suck.
Throwing this in paint.
And where is...
The top right is where where Dundalk is.
Oh, damn. All right, we are...
If you see that line that kind of looks like a ladder on the right side, those are the Televase cliffs.
Gotcha.
They're like the northern border of Grescia.
That's really tiny.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking of a good way to show it, and that right now, my drawn map is all I have.
That's fine.
That's
Thank
fine.
you.
That's fine. It just means we're really far from home,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Okay, so it's really weird that you're... How did we both end up here? No, it's fine. We'll figure that out later.
I've been following my brother.
Whoa, you can zoom in.
What?
My
What?
I
No?
opened the original from Discord and was able to zoom in. I just wish I could like flip it.
There you go, Hawk.
Smart.
Oh wait, you said so
Maybe.
top left. We're in the top left. I thought you said top right.
Well, top right on the sideways map. Top
Oh,
left here.
oh yes, sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. That
Eh.
makes a lot more sense.
Yay, Omega to the rescue.
Where is okay, there's
Good job, Omega. All right.
What the heck?
This is a super cool map.
Yeah, it is.
It's also wildly unrealistic for the rivers to flow like that,
Yeah, a little bit.
which is why it was
Sign of the
magic.
Last Dragon. Kingsail's there, Bryn Melon's. Oh, okay.
And the final map that I do in campaign cartography is going to be different because of the nature of it, of the beast. But I mean, it'll be more or less that picture.
Okay. Cool.
With the map that I updated, can we just like be like, hey, can we look at this map again, and you bring it up, or how would that work?
Which map?
This map, the one that's
Oh, the
showing
dwarf
on-
map?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I can always
Okay.
just pull you over to it, and I'll just remove all the tokens, and you'll just see what you see.
Well, I did take notes on at least.
Oh,
a few
okay, yeah. That's fine. You can do that too.
Oh, I think there's 2 towers.
What? The 2 towers?
There's up by Wigmore.
Oh, Garen's Tower is a military installation of Gresha to ward against the barbarians of the north.
Gotcha. Okay.
Jaxar's mentioned it before as well.
Yeah.
So right next to the forest of with the tower with Nar Higrin, there's Badlands. Is that like a desert?
Where? Narhingren? Yes. So Badlands are a depression of land with stones that are like standing in vertical shape. They're wild. If you just do a quick search of Badlands, you can see what.
Oh, like the actual like in South Dakota, that Badlands?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yes, I've been there before.
I mean, not necessarily that particular area, but it's
Mhm.
similar. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so I'm seeing the Grecian River. Where specifically is Grecia?
Gresha is the country.
Oh, it's the entire country.
Yeah. So everything within that river that circles around is Gresha. Up and so if you follow the river down through 3 rivers, Snakewoods, 2 rivers, and then curving back up at Langholm, if you go right. So basically everywhere that has those dotted lines that are demarcations for duchies.
Right. Okay.
What's the tower
Cool.
between Bryn Melon and Milburn?
The one that's kind of to the right.
Yes.
You don't know?
Okay, that's pretty close to here.
Well,
It is.
in theory, that is on the other map.
Presumably that would be.
That
Narhingrin.
might be Nar Higrin, yeah.
Yeah.
That
Good.
forest has got a lot smaller.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
okay.
because it identified Bryn Melon as being right about here.
Yeah. Scale is also throwing me off here, but yes, I
Yeah,
think
the scale's a
that's
little off. So you know that the Badlands are more to the east than that. You can assume that that's the Duke's keep. That's in that duchy there where Bryn Melon is.
Do you think it's in that tower is the Duke's Keep?
Yeah. That's probably where the Griffin Roost is.
Oh, okay. So it was like a day's travel. Okay. Well, something we didn't find was anything under the tree here.
That's correct.
Wait, what?
We didn't find the roots of the tree. Unless, I mean,
Oh.
in this tunnel.
yeah.
Unless that's where the cave-in is, and that's why that dwarf was infected.
I haven't checked the east wall of that room for any tunnels. I only checked the one wall and just got lucky with it, so I might have to check the other wall to see if there's other tunnels.
Orientation is off for the dwarf that was corrupted to come to be in that direction. I mean, the tree to be in that direction.
Art?
What?
So it was mentioned that the dwarf that's corrupted out in the hall may have been, the tree's roots may be in that direction.
Oh,
But
okay.
based on coming downstairs and orienting yourself, the tree would be south of this room, not north.
Okay.
What about the longer dead one?
Yeah. I mean, that's more in that direction.
So
Cave-ins.
the room that we went in the first time had a siege engine, which is just like a large vehicle type deal. It had
Yes.
to have a way to like get out. Is my
Correct.
assumption.
Fair point.
You opened the back of it, and that's when the golem attacked. You saw a way into the front of the wagon through that back compartment.
To do anything with that, we would have to go back and take out the golem.
We don't necessarily have to take out the golem. We just have to either sneak in or be quick.
Kind of looks at you and
You can still hear it pounding on the door.
Oh, has it moved to the door? Like, did it actually get up and?
Well, the rope was pulled off of it.
Okay, I didn't know if it had movement or not because it had moved previously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it tried to chase us out the door. It couldn't get through the door, so it attempted to blast us with light beams.
Okay. What next?
We could probably fight it through the doorway. Cheese it a little. It had a pretty telegraphed beam attack, from what I remember.
Yeah, and I still have a spell slot I can use on my I still have
Arms.
that spell that can like blind it, which probably takes away its eye lasers.
Yeah. We also have I think we all have at least some form of reusable,
Range.
Ranged combat.
folks.
Yes.
Giant metal murder monster
That can't get out the door or hit us.
that has a lot of armor. We didn't do a lot of damage to it.
We have time.
I thought we did almost half damage to it.
We did. We got about halfway.
We kind of kicked its ass low key. Like I don't think it laid a finger on us.
Oh,
It
that's
laid
not
a finger on
accurate.
Jaxar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Murder
Really
our poor wizard.
Jaxar. What does have Jaxar stand in the hallway?
I mean, it's Johnny. It's basically taking on your enemy at a choke point.
If you really want to.
I kind of really want to.
Also, think of it this way: this thing dies. That's a lot of metal for you to do your whatever with.
He's interested.
There he goes.
Johnny just goes. His backing just goes.
Nice one, Ambrose.
This is what I do.
Johnny's no longer in the room with you guys.
So you have the button left, and otherwise you've done all the levers.
Does the button have, does it look like a big red button? Is there anything around it that indicates this is only touch this if you're really serious about blowing shit up?
Does it have a little key and like a plastic cover over it or anything?
2 keys and
or the 3,000-year-old equivalent.
optical what's that?
Retinal
Retinal-
scan.
Retinal scans, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta like look into a thing and press your hand and like lick a
Rectal
button or
scan.
something to get it to activate.
Oh, like a button.
Lick
Yeah.
it, saliva activated. No,
Yeah, there
I
you
mean,
go. Should they have those in the Pentagon, right?
it doesn't. It doesn't say anything like activate if you want to
Die.
destroy the fortress and everything in a 3-mile radius. Nothing like that.
What are the walls of this
I,
room
I,
like?
I would
Yeah, I want to look at the rest of the
suggest-
room.
Yeah, I would suggest, Tonist, we leave that one alone until
No.
if we come across the same thing in another location, if we go and scout another location, if we find the same thing there, then we can potentially explore that your theory. But right now may not be the best time.
Okay, can we check the walls in this room real quick?
The walls are stone. They've been carved in. They're not like completely even, but
Are they dwarven but not Drakentorter covered?
yes, dwarven.
Haven't been tainted.
Definitely dwarven in nature.
Exar, are you good? Nothing to see. Rest up.
Okay.
Before we
Why
go
are
back
you
in
going
there,
in?
before we go back in there, I suggest we take a little bit of a rest because I'm kind of down on my spells. Because you people didn't take the hint the first time I told you to get out.
I was by the door the entire time.
He looks pointedly at everybody.
That is fair though. I've only used one spell slot, but that is 50% of my spell slots. So short rest sounds nice.
Welcome to Warlock. It'll be that way until like level 8 or 9.
Yeah, I don't get 3 spells until level 9.
Damn.
Jesus. Jeebus.
Well, I suppose the good thing is I've got this new armor. So anybody who's standing directly behind me can have cover.
That is true.
Oh, Jeff, I don't know if you noticed, a lot of Warlock cantrips that are damage based increase damage just because you're at a higher level when you cast it. Like, it doesn't use a different spell slot.
I'm
Oh
gonna take
yeah,
a short break. I'll be right back.
like
Eldritch Blast
spell
gets like
slots
a
are
second
pretty.
and third beam,
Yeah, I was looking
and it's
through
still
that.
a
Like
cantrip.
that looks kind of like the trade-off, I guess, is that like spells overall, I don't get many of them, and they're kind of meh. But Eldritch Blast gets like nutty good the more levels I get,
Mhm.
especially when I mix it with invocations. Like I've got Agonizing Blast on it right now, which means I can add my Charisma mod, which is +5 right now.
Oh, dude.
So, in my IRL campaign, I'm a Warlock Rogue combo that specializes with like daggers, and
Ooh.
there is a Eldritch Invocation you can take for Pact of the Blade that lets you attack twice with a single attack action.
Hey guys, me and Tara are stepping away for just a second for beer. Be right back.
Okay.
So, I attacked something in our campaign on Wednesday. In the same action and bonus action, I was able to attack twice as one attack action, add sneak attack because of rogue. The dagger I was using had a thing where if I could, as a bonus action, inflict poison with it. And I think I was also casting Booming Blade at the same time, because as part of Booming Blade, you make take an attack action.
Ooh.
And it ended up doing somewhere in the neighborhood of like 80 damage with just a dagger, which is a D4.
That's incredible.
Okay, I'm back.
If you don't have Booming Blade, if you have a dagger or like other melee means, Booming Blade is very good. And I think it's a cantrip that does like 3d8
It's a really good
thunder
spell.
damage. Yeah. Well, okay, at my level it does like 3d8 thunder.
I grabbed it as a rogue.
This is the mural you were talking about, Jacob?
Yeah, it's on that wall.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And it has the same looking dragon on it with the bluish protrusions, the sapphire gems, with a bunch of dwarves in like prostate before it. Prostrate.
Okay, so what are we doing? Sorry, I had to step away because I needed chocolate.
And beer.
I said beer.
So-
Yeah.
Well, Paul's getting beer. I've got gin.
A chocolate beer?
That's what I was gonna
Oh
say.
yeah. Oh, we've got plenty of those in this house. Believe me.
Chocolate gin? Anyways.
Not no, not chocolate gin, but chocolate stouts. Yes, we've got lots of chocolate stouts.
Nice. I haven't really tried those.
Some of them are good. Some of them are sad. Well, it's
Good
true.
or sad.
Unfortunately, we have expensive tastes in craft beer.
Yes, we do.
And so, we find these craft beers that are 8, 9, 10, 11% ABV and, brewed with cocoa nibs and thick and creamy when you pour them. And so the things that say, oh, it's a 6% ABV and it pours kind of thin, but it says it's a chocolate milk stout is sad.
Yes.
All right.
So
What are we doing?
I understood like half of that, by the way. I'm not drinking H yet, so
Oh.
I don't know anything about booze.
Well, okay. Well, let me just tell you, your voice gives you an advantage because I would not have known that.
Yeah, I thought you were like mid-20s. Seriously.
I
The-
just turned 20 like a couple months ago, but yeah, I have.
Oh
a
my
beard
God.
voice, so I probably could. Like,
Time passes. Guff, I don't know why Guff. I keep thinking you're just like, oh, Guff's 18. It's like, no, you've known Guff for 2 years now, so he's 20 now.
oh yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
it's nuts, bro.
That's funny. So are we taking a long enough rest to regain spell slots or not?
That's only an
I am.
hour, isn't it?
For some people.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good point.
We can do whatever. If we need an hour rest, go for it.
I can't remember for clerics. Is it a full rest? Is it a
Yes.
long rest to get? Yeah. So we're talking like camping out, guys.
Oh, so 8 hours.
I haven't used any of my spell slots yet, so
Yeah, I've got some healing as well.
I can searing a smite and I can divine smite
Yeah,
if needed.
I've used all of my level 2 spell slots.
All right.
Are you okay? What spells do you use that would be beneficial here?
Well, there's Shield of Faith, which gives me a +2 to my AC, which I will not go up against that thing without it.
Well, that's why I said we're attacking it through the door, where it
fair.
won't be hitting.
Yeah,
us.
I'll be standing in the door.
No,
It can't get out the door. It won't be able to hit us.
let Althea stand in the door.
I have a higher AC than she does.
Oh my god.
And Johnny,
Yeah.
I can cast Shield of Faith on you.
Okay.
Or yourself.
But there's
Then you'll have a
also-
higher AC than him.
How many does it
Th-
add?
this is, guys, this isn't a measuring contest. It's just I don't have guiding bolt. I don't have my strongest spells. But if you really want to do this right now, fine.
Do you
Okay,
have
what we're
remote
trying to
range?
say is you don't have to be in the front.
Kick in the goddamn door, because that's what Johnny does.
Wait,
Instead
did
of
we take a
sitting
short
around
rest?
No.
No,
You have cantrips. You'll be fine.
because you managed to piss Johnny off from arguing over logistics that make no sense. And
Okay.
again, guys, this isn't
all
me.
stack up in the
This is
door.
Johnny. This isn't me. This is Johnny. So
Okay. You open the door. There's the cave in, the wrecked war wagon, tracks that could have held a second one.
Yeah.
And some of Jaxar's blood on the ground.
we can use that for spells later. I mean,
Wow.
what a shame. So, I'll take a Shield of Faith, please.
Yep.
Okay, so AC 23.
Yeah. So you've still got a higher AC than I do because Shield of Faith only adds what, one or
Two.
two? Okay.
Two. And I've already got blessing of the
Forge.
whatever forge on me. So that gives me a 23 total right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll step in, look for
All
the
right.
look for Murder Boy.
You don't see him.
Stay back, and I will go here. Because what part of stay back wasn't clear?
I'm not leaving you alone. I'm not coming any further.
Gwen will step here and train an arrow on the train an arrow on the space where the thing showed up last, and she'll ready an action to fire.
And we'll get back to the
Since
war
no one
wagon.
else is following his instructions, I might as well help.
Yeah, Ambrose steps inside because he
Can we
wants
get
to
can we
use
get
cool
can we get
spells.
Sentry Jaxar farther down here?
Yeah.
Sentry Jackson.
Open the back of the war wagon because that's what triggered it last time.
It's still open.
Okay, and the golem's not back in its hole.
It seems to be.
So it's in there. I can look right at it.
You see a blank wall there.
Okay, well, everybody into the war wagon. Let's see what happens.
Everybody into the war wagon.
Okay, you pile in. It's a bit cramped. I mean, this is built for dwarves, so kind of have to squeeze in.
Is there a way? Is there a way through it into the front?
Yes,
That's what we're looking for.
there's a door that leads to the front area.
Open that
the
door.
Althea.
Okay.
What?
There's a door right next to you.
You open it up. There's a the front bit is crushed a bit from the rock that has fallen, but you can still get in there and look around. It's got like foot pedals and levers, and the front of it has like a shutter that looks like it could have been opened at one point, but is now been dented and bashed beyond usability.
Is there a way out through through the front of the cockpit?
No, it's like crushed under tons of rocks.
I think
Okay.
I misunderstood the. Okay.
Yeah, so did I. I thought this was like
I thought
Yeah, I thought this was a way into into another room. Okay, never mind.
Well, here's it could probably
ahead.
possibly make a hole.
So Tonus would know from his or whatever that background is, archaeologist, that this would have been where they could have launched their war weapons out into the wild from the fortress. But the cave-in has just crushed the remaining wagon and then the exit from this room.
So, okay, that leads me to believe that there is an external entrance to the other side of it.
Well, yeah, could have been once upon a time, but I mean, from this side, that's just rock. And you know that the ravine outside the fortress, like, basically carved the thing in half, and a bunch of the fortress has fallen into the chasm.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
There's a reason for it. Come on, there's a reason for it. Is there an ignition switch?
Yes.
Before I do that, I'm gonna do
The ladder just
I'm
got
gonna
out.
do some like quick basic maintenance or like checks from what I can even see.
Okay. Sure. Just make a basic intelligence check. I don't know if you have anything that you think you can add.
If I do intelligence checks on technology items using history, I get a bonus. Does that matter here?
This isn't a history thing. You're trying to determine if this machine still works.
But it's an old machine.
You know from your history lessons
Historic
that at one
artifact.
time it did work.
Did it do it? Oh, it did it pretty well.
Okay. Yeah, you're looking around, making sure that bits and pieces that haven't been crushed beyond usability, that if you try to turn this on, it doesn't explode in your face.
Yay!
You find etched into the dashboard, it says Doom Engine Mark 1.
Oh.
We should go press that button. Maybe.
Hey, Jaxar, want to go press that button for us?
I mean, sure. If you guys will push the button, we'll, yeah. Push.
So is everybody who's not Tunis inside the room with me? I'm gonna go over and kick that wall.
It's one block over, I think. I think
Johnny's amped for a fight.
Apparently.
I would recommend getting in the battle wagon with me.
You hear some grinding, but nothing happens in your room. Jaxar will tell you something came onto the map.
Ah! Oh! Okay, this makes sense now. I guess we go back to the map, or to the... Did you show us the map? I don't want to walk back over there.
Yes.
Oh. Oh, I walked back over there.
Hey, look, it's the battle wagon.
So the map of the Doom with the apocalypse engines tell us where they are. They don't necessarily make them turn on and explode and kill the world.
Appreciated.
What a buzzkill!
But there aren't any more?
Is there just the one? Yeah.
We would probably have to press the button at any location.
Oh, you're not coming through.
I heard her.
Oh,
So did I.
Oh, well, it's just me then. Never mind.
That being said, I guess I will ignite the engine.
Ignite.
I'm sorry. I don't think you're allowed to say that.
That was a little questionable.
Wow.
Okay.
I feel so judged.
I feel like I missed something.
Oh, you know what?
Ignite.
Johnny, if you get in the back of the battle wagon with me and it pops out, if you want to do ranged combat, there's just a bunch of crossbows in here.
There are crossbows in there still, yeah.
Or anybody else that doesn't have effective ranged combat?
Do a vehicle proficiency test or check.
No. How do I know? What?
I guess it's just gonna be intelligence again, then.
Handle animal.
Okay.
Yeah, is there a vehicle proficiency? There's no. That's not a thing.
Yes, it is a thing.
It's not.
Yeah, you can choose like one of the backgrounds you can choose at the beginning of the game is sailor, and that'll give you boat proficiency.
That's not vehicle proficiency.
Boats are vehicles.
Yeah, but that's still wouldn't be the same. Him asking for vehicle proficiency is like saying make a spot check.
There you go. See, you can do it. I believe in you.
So did I meet your check for it then?
All right. You fumble with the controls since you're not very familiar with them, and eventually you get it to you start. It starts to vibrate under you. It's not working very well. And the compartment you're in starts to fill up with smoke.
Oh, good. Okay.
But it is on.
Okay. Is there like a...
Tonist?
Yes?
What are you doing?
He's smoking meat, apparently.
I'm assuming smoke is coming out.
Yes, smoke starts to come out of the back of the wagon.
I'm just gonna step over here.
Can I...
Yep.
Is there some version of putting it in drive?
Yeah, don't pop the clutch.
Is it a stick shift? I don't know how to drive a stick shift.
10 and 2, Taunus. 10 and 2.
It's definitely a stick shift.
Grab the Prindle.
Get out and use the hand crank.
Sounds
Would
like
it
a
help
dwarven
if we got out and pushed?
sex move.
Gwen still has.
Wow.
Oh
The
god.
crankshaft?
Okay, Gwen still has an action ready to shoot the golem as soon as she sees it.
Yep.
Not to be a pile-on, but ready to hack at it with halberds too.
Yep.
Tonus, is that necessary?
Yes!
What are you doing?
Trying to clear a hole. Maybe, I don't know. Let's make it go forward.
Okay. You hear the wheels in the back grind, or try to spin, and there's grinding of this machine on the rock that it's embedded in, but it doesn't move. The people everyone outside can see bits of rock fall as things shift, but not so much that it's like going to be a cave in or that you're in any danger. You just see some shifting of rocks.
Okay.
I'm still, every once in a while I go over and kick the wall where the golem came out last time. You big pansy.
Put it in reverse.
Johnny will
we did give it at
Johnny
least
will
half a spanking.
Johnny will sneak a nip from his hip flask.
Ambrose, I yell back, Ambrose, can you move?
Gonna hit the accelerator.
I'm
With
gonna
much
hit.
Wheeling of rock and on metal, the engine begins to squeak backwards.
You're in
Is this
reverse.
planned? Am I just going way off the rails?
And
You're in
eventually you free it from the rocks, and rocks tumble down and into the further into the room.
Is there a hole where it was?
It gets filled in with rock.
Oh, so this was a waste of time.
Well, it depends on
Yeah,
what.
bar.
Depends on what your goal was.
But we can't get the car outside. I would love to take this with us if we could, but I don't think we can.
You can't get it through the
We
door.
could have had a mystery machine, but we can't get it out this room.
We could have had a battle hoopty.
Well, that depends on what's behind the golem in his room.
Wasn't there just another wall behind the golem?
No, we don't know what was behind it. All we saw was giant murder metal thing.
Behind him was another secret compartment with a second golem.
Alrighty then.
Behind
Spoilers.
him is a
Dwarves
third golem.
masterpiece. It's just an endless line of golems.
Golems all the way down.
Coming to kick our asses.
That's why this map is so big, and
Okay.
we're just in the top right corner of it.
If this is a golem army, how do we get them under our control?
We say pretty please, and then we grant them their freedom by changing the
just-
script in their head.
Have a touching moment. You tell them about Superman, and you say you are not a gun, and
Whatever.
Okay.
Or you refer to him by his giving him of Mr. Pump
One of my
from the Discworld.
One of my favorite comedic parts of that movie is when the agent has the chewed up rifle and he looks at it and he goes, "Hog hug, Hogarth Hughes."
So the golem's not coming out of his room, is he?
Doesn't seem like it.
All right, everybody, out of the pool. The golem is apparently afraid of us.
I don't think psychological warfare is going to work on it.
You never know.
I telepathically shout in every direction, "Your mom was a tin can," and I fire an Eldritch Blast at the wall.
Oh,
Dude!
God.
Wow.
Okay.
Rude.
I hope that he hasn't regened in the time that we've been in the map room.
Does anybody have reduce and large?
Gwen just kind of looks at you like, what?
just gonna pull out one of my
I want to turn this into a Tonka truck so it goes up the stairs.
one of my metal.
Oh.
It's not getting out of that door.
No, I want it.
I want to pull one of my inscribing tools out, and on the
Mhm.
wall in front of the on the wall where the golem resides, I'm gonna put in very nice calligraphic, here lieth candy ass, and then leave.
All right.
Dude. I'm not leaving the room until Johnny's ready to go. Everybody else, but yeah, everybody else needs to be out.
I think he left already.
Yeah.
Fine.
Here lieth.
That's all
candy
right.
ass.
It's me. Everybody has to leave
Okay.
except for Johnny
Yeah, who's busy
before I'll
Gr-
leave.
talking final smack. There we go. Hody dody do.
All right. Are we teleporting out?
Yeah.
I
Going
guess.
up, back upstairs.
Presumably. There's no
Jacob, how do you
reason
say
to-
this name?
Ah,
The young dragon's name?
Bob,
Press die or something.
Fred,
Zerdeus.
Steve.
Zerdays.
Steve.
God, King of the Dragon. Ooh.
Steve the pirate.
Amadeus.
Oh, he would be back in the corner.
Rocky Amadeus.
Oh, okay, so I can't see him. Never mind.
Oh, there we are. It's like I was looking at a black screen.
I'm still looking at a black screen.
Scroll down.
Oh, there we are. Okay.
Middle
we are.
bottom.
You gotta zoom out a little
Wow.
Oh, brains. Go step on them.
Stop.
There's some Brian's in the pile there.
Brian.
Right.
Brains.
All right. What do you guys do now?
So we
I-
know that Herr Herzog von Schmarmy Face is gone. right?
Herzog Hambach.
We need to go check the tree.
Yes, check the tree.
I'm
It's
gonna-
only been like, I don't know, an hour since you guys left it.
We
We
didn't check it
the first time.
after our long rest.
Oh, okay. All right. You're there. The tree, it looks to be recovering. There's bark that's sloughing off like the one in Bryn Melon.
That's a good sign. Oh,
We will-
when Gwen sees that, she'll like kneel and sing like a kind of a clan traditional blessing over the tree.
And Johnny will put his hands on the tree and say, "We will name you Groot, and you will be strong."
Yay, Groot.
We have a native California oak that we're growing literally from an acorn that we were gifted. Tara was gifted before we left California.
Yeah,
that we
the-
have named Groot.
Yes, because when he was given to me, he was about an inch and a half tall.
He had
And-
just sprouted.
He had just sprouted, and he is now over 42 inches tall.
Yeah. He is awesome.
Do you have it stand next to a wall and like mark the wall with a pencil to show its growth?
No, we use a tape measure.
Oh, smart.
Okay, and we are not able to find the Herzog anymore.
What was that? Sorry. I had to take my headset off and sneeze and not deafen you all.
We haven't found Herzog Hambach. His ghost. His
Herzog
ghost.
Hambone.
And we've already waxed the baby spider, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was there any other hidden places in this place that we haven't found yet, or that we haven't explored yet, that we've
we gonna
identified
go
as?
up? Were
Yeah,
we
let's
gonna
go
go
up.
up here?
Those stairs are caved in. There's nowhere to go up.
Okay.
I'm gonna thwack this wall with my pickaxe.
You whack at it for some time. You pull down the bricks, but you just see the old dwarven walls.
Was there anything down this collapsed hallway down here, or is it just a collapsed hallway? and
That's the
nothing?
secret passage to the mountains.
Yes,
Oh,
that was a fake collapsed hallway that let you out.
To the glacier.
Yeah.
I need
Or,
to
well,
go there.
Maybe not glacier, but to that side
Hold
of the.
Why do we need to go there?
I need to go there.
Hold on.
He
Before
needs
we
to go
leave.
there.
Before we leave.
Yes, before we leave.
Rose has a plan.
This is going to be
Ambrose
entertaining.
has a plan.
So here, come back to the like water elemental room.
Okay.
Jaxar is standing there somehow.
Oh, hey Jaxar.
I just put him in a random room. You're like, let's go there. I'm like, all right.
And there's Jaxar, creepy.
Oh, here we go. Ambrose, this room before the water elemental room, he slaps his hand on one of these barrels leaning against the wall, and he says, "Johnny, Tonist, what do you guys know about waterproofing?"
No.
You oil it, and yeah, oil rags will keep water out. Yeah, why? What do you want?
So hear me out.
Okay.
Spell plan didn't work because I need to talk, but I can't do that underwater.
Oh
Right?
my
Okay.
god.
So take one of these barrels, we cut the bottom off of one of it, weigh it down so it sinks with me inside it, and then I can cast spells because I can talk.
Althea walks out of the room.
That's a really bad
It's
idea.
genius.
And Johnny kind of follows Althea out the
Um,
room.
A bit of an explosion rocks the fortress. You figure that the battle wagon that you left off on probably exploded.
Jeez,
I never turned it
he
off.
left it on.
Oh no.
Ugh.
God.
But that may have taken care of Candy Ass.
it might have
Or
cleared a
it made
hole
him
in
let
the
him out.
wall.
I doubt it left a hole in the wall.
It might have though.
Do you want to go look? Go ahead.
No.
Tell you what,
Yes,
that's
come on, though. Barrel plan. This is the best plan.
Have we been upstairs lately?
We are
No,
currently upstairs. Wait.
there's a tower, but you've never been up.
Ah! Let's go in this.
I thought we went up at one point.
You,
Oh,
We
sorry,
did.
When I
that was
say when I say
we-
you, I was talking specifically to Tonist and Ambrose.
right, right. So we've
Oh.
been up there, but they haven't because that was when we first visited the tower
Correct.
and were attacked by the tree.
We probably need to go find more bulblets.
yeah. We need to go to the glacier.
Well, yes.
If there's a glacier next to the bulblets, fine.
There is.
He knows it in his heart.
Heart of the cards. Okay, so are we going upstairs? Do you guys want to see the tower for some reason?
I mean,
I
at the top, you would get a good view of the landscape around you.
Yeah, and I want to see if the vines and the branches are looking any better.
All right, let's go upstairs. Do battle with Audrey 2 again.
Okay. You head upstairs. Jaxar is there somehow.
I'm trying.
Creepy.
I'm trying to remember if these mushrooms were there before.
They were.
Okay.
What mushrooms are you seeing? I'm still on the other floor.
Okay. Then I think I went up different stairs than you did.
Yeah, the stairs Johnny's on are collapsed. There's nowhere to go up there. Althea's in the first room. That's where the tower is, and that you could walk up the stairs to get to the top.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
There's Gwen.
Ew.
Jeez, all y'all came right through the walls.
Yeah, Ambrose follows, grumbling under his breath about people not wanting to do barrel plan.
All over a rock.
But it could be a magic rock.
That's true. It could be. So the top of this tower, for those that are there, is the site of a recent battle. At this point, maybe about a month and a half old. Dead soldiers are up there. Bloodstains. There's also a few skeletons, as well as a ballista.
Where did everybody go?
Up north and then left. So west.
Ah, okay.
And then bottom right of that room.
Oh my god, just keep going.
So that
Oh.
that tunnel that you're in just represents the staircase up, so that you can move your character along it, and I don't have to teleport you.
Sure.
Does this staircase that shows going down, does it actually lead anywhere?
Where are you? What do you mean?
I'm in the room with the ballista. There's a staircase in the lower right-hand corner. That one,
That
yeah.
goes down. That goes down. You're at the top of the tower. You can see out over the battlements
Okay.
into the wastes. To the east, you'll see in the distance the town of Bryn Mawr. And north, you'll see. Where's my map? There you are. To the north, you won't really just fields of black. West, you see the mountain range. And to the south, you can see a tower with a red glowing light at the top. Near the base of the fortress on the west side of the ravine, you also see a large metallic tank-like object.
Yes, Doom Machine!
It got out! Which direction is it headed?
Is it moving?
It's sitting there.
Is
It
it
waited
belching
for us.
smoke? Is it showing anything?
No, it's just sitting there in harmony with nature.
Wait, which
I
direction?
wonder if that's the. I wonder if that's the other one. That
That would
the
make
tracks.
It
were
looks
on the inside
much
of them?
larger than the battle wagon you saw in the room.
Which direction is it in?
It's sitting near the base of the fortress of the tower. It's
On
like
the west, you said, or on the.
Like out the front door?
southwestish. Southwestish.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So-
the tower that we're in currently?
Can we
Is it
get
right
there?
next to us? Oh,
Heading out to that, you're in the ravine. There's the rickety bridge that heads east across the chasm and back towards Bryn Mawr.
what is this?
So if I'm facing up, or if I'm facing the bridge, it's to our left?
If you're facing the bridge, it's behind you. This was the old vine monster that attacked them when they first came.
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to get out there. I guess we could just climb down the tower.
So you can, you could. There's multiple ways. You can go back to the ravine and climb up. You can climb down off the tower. You can take the secret tunnel to the west, the one that the Herzog showed you.
The secret tunnel, didn't that lead us like super far away before it let us out?
It wasn't miles, but it was a walk. Yeah.
Alright, well that's probably the easiest thing to do. Let's just take the secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
Okay. You emerge about 1,000 feet west of the tower.
Prodded.
Okay, and then we go ahead to find the thing.
Find the Tonka truck battle wagon.
Tonka truck battle wagon.
Okay, so you head back towards the tower.
It's just gonna turn into Firefly. Yes,
Okay,
we backtrack towards the tower, but on.
I responded.
You use
You
the
hear us
service
talking about
tunnel to get out. No. You head back there.
A little bit.
As you
Okay,
get
I'm
to
not
the
mad that you like didn't offer earlier.
tower, you realize that the Tonka trunk is. It could
I
probably
really
hold
don't
a
care.
pretty
Like if you're
large
doing it, then
contingent of
fine. I
soldiers.
don't have the
Um,
energy to remember.
Dwarf
It's-
soldiers.
It's multi-level. There's a larger platform as the base with like tracks, and then a smaller
Okay.
second level.
Is it a double-decker English bus? Is that what it is?
Yes, yeah. You found a double-decker English. It's actually a triple-decker.
Is it the Midnight
Wow.
Express?
It's
Yeah.
the night
It's
bus.
the
That's
night
what I was
bus.
looking for. Thank you. It's a night bus. Hold on to your hat, Ern.
It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Oh my god.
There's a behind the second level of the Tonka truck. There is a catapult that is set on the top of the first level, and it's has a lot of metal on it.
Hmm.
I'm gonna check the dashboard. Are we like inside of it?
No, not yet.
Oh.
There, similar to the one that you found in the fortress, there is a like doorway that will swing down near the back or at the back,
Mhm.
and you can swing that down easily.
We do so.
It opens and there's a golem inside.
There's
Shush.
it's actually 3 columns.
The
and then
same golem.
there's one in this. Yeah, he's piloting now.
So he managed to teleport through the wall.
Yeah.
Sneaky
Well,
bugger.
well, you didn't get.
Where do you
himself
think the spider found it?
What?
Was the spider a golem?
The spiders learned how to teleport from the golem. They were friends.
Oh, they were okay.
They were
Wh-
besties.
Why
A
are you
symbiotic
giving?
relationship.
Why are you
No.
giving the DM ideas?
Eyes.
The base platform is separated into 2 areas. The first area is what was probably a transport, like a troop transport area for the soldiers that could wait inside. You see seats for a score of soldiers. So this is a big vehicle.
In dwarven terms, it's a big vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everyone that's not Tana's size will need to sort of crouch as they move through.
Aha.
The second area, the forward area, has weaponry. There's maps of the area, similar to the dwarven map you found in the fortress, but of parchment and much less detailed.
Are they still in good condition given that they've been out here?
I mean, this like you had to open a sealed area, so it was pretty stale inside, and
Okay,
they actually are well preserved.
So all his work duplicated.
In far better detail,
Yeah, well,
which
I
makes
felt good
our
about it
which
for, like,
makes our
10
archaeologist redundant.
poor Tonist.
You drive it. You drive now. I want to see you drive this.
There's a ballista set here in this first level, pointed forward out, and there's a shutter that could be opened up for the ballista to fire out, as
Is
well
it
as
a dwarf-sized ballista?
50 cal, but it'll do.
I mean, it's a normal ballista. I don't know. It doesn't fire dwarves. If that's what you're asking.
Wow.
Hang on,
Now that's
McClary, you're going for a ride.
And then ladders leading up.
Where's the equivalent of a cockpit?
In the top. If you go up the ladder, you can find similar setup to the battle wagon you had entered before. It's a lot more sophisticated. It looks like it would need at least a couple people working in tandem
Oh.
to operate properly. On what account, what the equivalent of the dash, it says Doom Engine Mark IV.
Mark IV. What? We skipped 2 whole generations of Doom Engine here.
And you also find stations to operate the catapult in the back. It appears to be self-loading, though there are only 3 boulders.
So are the apertures from the first the lower platform to the upper platform, are they large enough to admit me or Johnny?
Yeah, you could squeeze through.
Okay.
You have to admit that. I mean, you have to realize that while a dwarf is short, they're quite thick
Okay.
around the belly.
Okay.
So you can move through.
Thick with 3 Cs.
Just making sure.
On the dash, you also find spots for what would be like a place to set a stone or a gem of some sort near where the pilot would be sitting.
Wonder what that does.
Hmm.
Does it have an ignition button? Are you going to try and start it up, Tonist?
Of course I am. That should be self-evident that I'm going to try and start it up.
Should we all stand clear in case it explodes?
Wait. Yeah, let's go ahead and give her a whirl.
Okay.
Althea looks over at Johnny and says he didn't answer my question.
Oh, I said it.
And
My
that
mic's
surprises
being weird.
you,
Yes,
why?
I said should probably stand back.
Johnny's already making his way towards the exit.
All right.
Okay.
You're outside.
Yes.
Oh, out the exit to the. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, standing clear of the vehicle in case it blows up. Not that we want to lose you or anything.
Or
but
lurches into the ravine.
yeah.
You
Oh.
fiddle with the controls, but it doesn't seem to power on.
I wonder if we need that gem from Verdes. Said to Gwen.
The what?
On the control panel, there's a space that looks like it requires a gem or some kind of something inserted. And I wonder if that gem that Verdes has on his small treasure pile belongs to this Doom wagon. Doom buggy.
Well, wait. Question. Didn't you say the eyes of the golem were like gems?
Yeah. They're sapphires.
So their technology is powered by sapphire.
What
That's
a
probably why they worship the sapphire dragon here. Anybody got a sapphire?
I don't think the gem that Zerdes had was a sapphire. I think it
was
wasn't
a
it.
diamond.
It was a diamond.
Yeah.
It was a blue
It raised-
diamond in the shape of a heart. The dashboard depression is not heart shaped.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
still think we should go back and get that, by the way.
Yeah.
Especially if you can turn this thing on. Just coax it out and be like, what do you want? This ballista?
I'll fire a dwarf at you.
I'll never see him coming. I don't. There was not a spot like this in the smaller one, right?
No, not at all. Not that you saw, anyways. It was pretty beat up.
Sure.
It is also now exploded.
Yes. I mean, sapphires are pretty tough. They might have survived.
True. You could search that wreckage.
I don't like. Would Tonus know to check like a fuel tank or things like that? It's
They were
very old.
while the dwarves were machinists and created constructs. They powered them magically. They didn't have like an internal combustion engine.
Where'd the smoke come from then?
You don't know.
Oh, mystery smoke.
Did you say something about wanting to search the wreckage?
Yeah, maybe? This might have a more direct form of, like, you need the key, quote unquote, whereas the other ones are just like, whatever. I don't know. Do we go back downstairs?
Okay, brass tacks. Are we better just setting out on foot?
Yes. Aside from covetousness, what will this bring us?
Bad.
What will
Right.
this bring us?
Well, I mean, it
Um,
might be transportation.
transportation, automatic cover,
It has
uh,
a dwarf ballista. We
moving
don't have any dwarves though.
weaponry, moving ranged weaponry.
A complete lack of any type of element of surprise.
What the fuck is that thing? I don't know. But we should probably prepare for a battle.
That or what
I
the
mean,
okay, it will provide us immediate cover from Jub Jub birds.
That is correct.
I don't. Ambrose doesn't know what those are, but he says good point.
No, Althea is just looking. She's looking at Johnny with kind of a significant stare.
You know who didn't have cover from Jub Jub birds?
Yeah, we left him there. A lesson
man
he
in
will
the
never
mountain.
forget. He will never forget.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of did already. Eternally.
Mm-hmm.
well, we might find a key for this in a different tower and just come back for it later. Or I will come back for it later.
I mean,
Um,
who says that this is gonna be here later though? It's kind of like this is just like a giant metal car, kind of sitting in
But
the
yeah, but
middle.
how long has it already been here?
Yeah.
What are the levels of dust and have any weeds grown up around it?
None. In fact, it's sitting on a very flat and level, like stonework.
Oh, Yep.
So
Pressing the
there's
button on the map raised it from.
uh,
So
I wonder
It was
if
like
we go.
launched.
Okay, so if you want to keep it safe, we go back downstairs, we press the button, we put it back in the garage.
What's a garage?
Well, here's another idea. What if the key is in the garage? I kind of want to stay in here when you press the button.
Oh, one of us should stay with him just in case it's bad. I'm looking at I'm looking. Althea's looking at Johnny.
Ambrose, what is the range on your
Johnny's looking back at you with flat eyes, going, "What?"
All right, I guess I'm staying with him.
my telepathy
I
is
want
30
nothing to do
feet,
with
and I have
this.
to have like line of
What
sight on
was that?
whatever.
Oh,
This is
okay.
turning into bad comedy. This is covetousness. The
No,
maker does not approve of this.
It
Is
is
this
the
covetousness?
potential for faster transport to where we need to go.
He doesn't know how to drive this thing.
Thomas, you know how to
Figure it
drive this
out.
thing.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Given his
Yeah,
aptitude, it's not likely to take him that long to figure it out.
Fine.
Let's at least try.
Okay. Go ahead.
So,
Look,
Tonist,
Johnny.
I'll stay with you, so that when we get to the garage, we can do whatever. Let's have Ambrose. You're the telepath, right?
He only has like 30 feet though.
Oh,
for 30 feet, and I have to have line of sight on whatever I want to talk to. So
oh dear. So yeah. So if there's anything bad and we need out, we
wait.
can't tell anyone.
Give me a second here.
How about somebody go back to the basement, the map room, press the button, give it 1 minute, press the button again. That'll put us into the garage. If there is no danger, then we, do the do the up and down twice. If there is danger, we will only be down there for like 40 seconds, which might get us dead.
Jaxar says, "On it."
Thank you, Jaxar.
Thank you, Jaxar.
Make it 30 seconds just in case.
No.
Now, if all 5 of us are there, we'll be fine.
Oh, we're all going? Okay. I thought it was just going to be me and Tonist.
No, I think all of us are going. So make it like 2 minutes actually.
Somebody might want to. Well, never mind. I hope you're okay, Jaxar.
He's got sentry mode on. He's fine.
He's on high alert. He's
Yes.
on red alert.
I guess if he doesn't
Actually,
come
he
back.
says, you know what? I'm gonna send Guy Hawks.
Oh!
Yay!
Oh, good call.
Yay! Can he? Does he have direct communication with Skyhawks?
I think it's 100 feet.
Oh well. All right. We'll find out.
Okay, so who's where?
I think we're all in the battle wagon.
Okay.
At least I'm in the battle wagon.
Yeah. Sure.
Johnny, are you on top of the battle wagon?
Johnny's standing next to the battle wagon.
Okay.
Okay.
Where is Ambrose?
If we're already sending someone down to press the button, why don't they just check the room right next to it for the sapphires?
We were
You
already
mean
in that
the room where the golem was?
Yeah, the thing
we can't-
exploded.
that
Maybe
we
it blew the
cannot-
wall.
Get to?
Okay. Have Guy Hawk check the room with the. We didn't close the door either, so.
All right.
Yeah,
So
Ambrose is in the battle wagon with them.
where's Gwen?
Spacing out in the battle wagon.
Cool. You just find a chair and sit down.
She's got her bow out with like an arrow knocked, and she's like leaning against the wall, kind of like as a sentry. So she's watching them, and so she's like leaning against. Does this make sense? She's leaning against a wall. She's kind of watching them, kind of watching the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it.
Okay.
She's not doing a very good job right now.
Lost in her own thoughts.
Getting nudged.
Oh yeah.
Oh, also, as Ambrose climbs aboard, he shouts, "Shotgun!"
Fair enough.
I think that makes you the second pilot.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is gonna have to take multiple people to drive it.
Johnny leans in. The term is tactical coordinator. Leans back out.
No,
Right
number
in
two
the
just
room.
means to go left and right. You can be the tactical coordinator, which sits on top with a pair of binoculars.
How close to the battle wagon is Johnny?
Not near any type of obvious exhaust port, but
Okay. Well, like 5 feet, 10 feet,
uh,
100 feet.
within the stone's throw. He's on the platform.
You're definitely on the flat,
Yes.
like worked stone that is not the black wastes that you're.
Yes.
Okay. Because it. So yeah, the wastes are all black, and the what this thing is sitting on is like rock colored. It's like this brownish.
Yeah.
It's like it's made of rock.
If there's room to stand on that, that's what he's standing on. If there's not, then he will have to. Then by default, I'll have to be in this stupid hoopty.
Okay. Yeah. No. There's room. It's a circular platform, and the thing is rectangular in general shape. So
Okay. Is it bigger than a bread box?
it is bigger than a big bread box.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay. So after some time, sitting there, waiting, moment passing, you feel.
What's the silver thing inside the bag of holding?
I sent it to you in
Oh, thank you.
Discord.
Thank you.
And the child
Got it.
skeleton is just a skeleton.
Okay.
Oh, can we do away with that at some point?
Just chuck it into the ravine. Sucks to be a human child.
Yeah.
Wow.
In general, typically it's correct.
Okay. After some time,
Okay.
the battle wagon lurches as the stone underneath you begins to move downward. As you descend into the depths, there's a ceiling that closes up above you, throwing everyone into darkness.
I've got light.
Okay,
I have dark vision.
perfect. Yeah, I think most of you have dark vision, and then Johnny has light. So, and you descend. It takes quite a while. 15, 20 seconds before you see anything outside of just walls, just the cylinder wall that you're descending down into. Eventually, though, it opens up into a room about 4 times as big as the battle wagon itself, ceiling quite high to accommodate the dual floors.
Okay. Look around for the workbench in the garage.
Yep, as before the rock settles into its place, you can see as you're descending towards it, there is equipment set up on one end, one side of the room.
Yeah.
Spare parts, forges.
Ooh,
Um,
Johnny just goes tools.
Do we have an actual map part for this right now, or are we just theater of the
no,
mind?
just describing it.
All right, third eye.
Are these craftsmen? Is this a craftsman set or snap-on? What is it?
Black and Dagger. You see lots of little things scurrying about on the floor as you're descending towards it. You see a second version of this Mark IV that seems to be in production. It's partially built.
Mm-hmm.
They've got just the base set up with the tracks, but not much else.
It's just the chassis.
Yep, just the chassis, and then quite a bit of dwarf skeletons all around.
Right.
Are they?
And
Do
then
any of them have black goo on them?
no, they are skeletal in nature and not full-bodied creatures. You do see a pathway out, but that and about a quarter of the room have also been impacted by the cave-ins, and you don't see any way out aside from that caved-in area.
When we stop moving, when we settle into the basically into the cradle in the ground,
Mhm.
Johnny's gonna head over to the workbench areas and look at the storage boxes, looking for basically for the power source that
Wait,
they
didn't
were
you say there
describing.
was small things scurrying on the ground?
I
Yeah,
did.
not
Yeah,
afraid of,
I'm
not
I'm
afraid of those things.
I'm on high alert for anything to start moving beyond
There's
just
things
craft.
moving down there. They're about the size of a small cat. They're like football sized.
So New York sewer rats.
Yeah.
Yeah, John,
Yeah.
anything that comes here, Johnny's gonna get punted.
Okay.
Okay.
When you take a step off of the platform into the larger work area,
Yep.
you see one scurry towards you. It's think of like a pill bug or a roly poly
Yeah.
in its general shape, but you do see out of its back there are like 3 scythe-like projections.
Uh,
Word of Radiance.
what?
That's save for half or save for negate.
It's save for your mom. No, it's save for negate.
Okay. What's the DC?
Hang on. It's only one of them.
Yep. One comes up towards you.
There. I used Sacred Flame instead.
Okay. The flames descend on it, and it just stops moving as wisps of smoke come out of its
Look around to see if the
chassis.
look around to see if the other ones get the message.
I mean, they're still scurrying about, but they're not near enough to you that they have approached yet. You do note that the one that you just flamed is getting redder and redder.
Look out, it's gonna
A
explode.
bomb?
Move away from it.
Okay. Yeah, you take a few steps back, and it does in fact explode in a small radius, like 3 or 4 feet.
Cool. Watch out, these things blow up.
Yeah, Gwen will keep an eye out and shoot any that, or take a shot at any that start to head towards the group.
Okay. I mean, everyone else is in the battle wagon, so it's just Johnny out there.
Yeah, but Gwen's like towards the back, so she's watching. So if any others start heading towards Johnny, then I guess, or the battle wagon.
Okay. Yeah, they're not coming towards the platform. Johnny goes to the workbenches and begins to look around for what exactly?
I'm looking around for like you described a depression in the dash, basically in the dashboard.
Yeah.
That's something you would need to sit in, and we're assuming it's something like a sapphire, based on the theme on the thematics that we've been going by. I'm looking for something about that size that would fit into the depression you're describing. Yes, I'm going off of purely linguistic descriptors here. I understand that.
That's fine. That's what
Althea
they're
is,
for.
yeah,
Yeah.
Althea is gonna hop down and start looking, start looting the bodies. See if any of them have something that looks like that.
I'd say
Any of
watch
the
out for the cell bugs. Those things have scythes on them that explode.
right. I saw that.
Yep.
And Ambrose is gonna hop down and just have an Eldritch Blast ready, just kind of moving around the room, looking in circles as they search stuff.
Okay. Um, why don't I have the option? Okay.
To murder.
Sending to Discord, it's like a general that shape.
It's a rupee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a rupee-shaped sapphire, presumably.
Okay.
You look among the tools and equipment. It's mostly looks like it's for the construction of the second one. They've got large sheets of metal, um, gears that they're working on, tracks and chains, and
Do they have like a secure cage? Like
like a
not
vault or
like
a
like a tool crib.
tool crib.
You know what I'm
I'm
talking
not,
about?
no, I don't.
Okay.
Tool.
Well, for high value items,
Oh, I
even
see.
in
I
yeah,
know. Okay. Um,
basically even
yes, they do.
in trusted areas, people don't trust it. Keeping honest people honest, basically. Go
In there,
there.
they have special materials like you can just looking in because it is closed and locked.
Yep.
Looking in, you can see what could be mithril and adamantine.
Oh.
Nice.
What kind of lock does it have on it?
It is a very deep dark metal. You think that the lock's probably made of adamantine too.
Hmm.
Who's our lockpick?
That's
Havelock.
also me.
Hey, can you pick this lock?
I can try.
Give it a shot. Just don't jam it. Is it an enclosed cage or is it just walled?
It's actually set into a part of the garage. So 3/4 of it are surrounded by stone, and then the front part is the door leading into it.
Okay, good to know.
Is there a latch on the other side of the door?
No, no, it's just a lock that keeps it shut. In fact, removing the lock wouldn't like unlock a latch. It would just allow you to pull the gate from the wall.
Actually, my other thought was, what kind of hinges are on it? Because if they're half barrel pins, I can just pop those. He's a blacksmith after all.
I'm sure the dwarves would have better locks than pinned.
Yeah, but
Uh,
the thing is,
Would think.
what's efficient?
It's set behind the stone itself,
Mm-hmm.
so that the gate would be swinging inwards, and all of that would be protected from,
Okay,
at least from like arm's length.
gotcha.
You could rig up a system. I mean, this is set up in such a way that you're gonna know who's going in and out,
Yeah.
because people are gonna be working there, and
Mhm.
so it's not like a dwarf could have set up and done what you're thinking of
Okay.
while work's being done. But you have the
s-
ability to reach the hinges. Yeah.
You said that the lock is probably made out of adamantine. What are what's the actual gate made out of? And like I said, the hinges. What are they made out of?
The gate is made of steel.
Heat metal. Melt the hinges. If he can, I'll let him try and pick the lock. But if he can't, I'm just gonna melt the hinges.
Okay.
Also, how big are the gaps in the gate?
The gaps in the gate are about a half-foot wide.
Pretty big.
I mean, am I able to? Is it just like ingots on the other side, or like what's the actual?
Ingots, raw material. There's bits in like chests that you don't know what's in those.
So it's a
Um,
small room.
it's
Can
pretty
Johnny
small.
and I just mage hand stuff out of it then?
I don't know if Johnny can.
Johnny has mage. No, no, sorry, not Johnny. Jaxar.
Jaxar.
Jaxar's
not
not
here.
with us. He's-
Yeah, Ambrose and Jaxar can do it.
I don't have Mage Hand.
Tonus.
Oh, you don't? I thought you did.
No, Tonus.
Oh, you have
Tonus.
prestidigitation.
Yeah.
The mage hands, mage hand. I don't know.
I'm not even sure if Warlocks can get Mage Hand.
I
No.
don't believe so. I don't remember actually.
Pick the lock.
how am
Or
I
is
doing with
basically
the bodies?
Chance if you take.
You're searching the bodies for just what exactly you're looking for?
I'm looking for keys. I'm looking for, um, whatever the shape is that might fit in that depression.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that doesn't look like it's just a tool.
Okay.
Although
Sure.
I may pull all of the tools out and lay them next to the bodies.
Okay. Make an investigation check, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, bio break. Perfect.
Guff. Warlocks can learn mage hand as a cantrip.
Damn.
Likewise, BRB.
Okay.
Can I use my inspiration on that? Since it's at 23.
When he comes back, he will tell you.
Yes.
Guff, are you still here?
Yeah.
Have you been
I'm back.
AFK farming today?
I let it run overnight, and
Yeah.
I woke up to like 1500 of that elemental whatever you need,
Mhm.
and like 30 engrams. So I went up
Yeah.
went and I quickly like decrypted them before we started, and I think I went up like 8 light just from that.
Dang. I emptied mine out this morning and then started farming again, and I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 engrams and 1300 of the altered whatever.
Go back
as
to the
well.
studio audience. Caller, you're on the air.
Please.
Okay.
Alfie,
Who
I
went
had a question.
AFK aside from me?
It was me. I'm back.
When?
Oh, is
Yeah.
everyone back then?
And
Or everyone here?
think so. Gwen here?
I don't think
Gwen's here.
Hawk's back yet.
Oh, Gwen's muted. I asked if I could use could use inspiration to buy that 23.
Oh no, you gotta do it before.
All right.
Back.
Okay.
Really quick, can Ambrose do some kind of check to see if he recognizes these bugs? I mean, like growing up in caves, it's possible.
These are automatons.
Oh!
Oh, they're robe bugs? Okay.
Yep. They're roly-poly
wondered.
robot bugs.
Okay, 1 second here.
That explains the exploding. Natural selection isn't exactly.
What
Doesn't-
language was written on the back of the scorpion?
Almani.
Okay. Who was it the new Almani? So Jaxar?
Jaxar did, and does Ambrose?
Ambrose knows it.
Next time you see one, just yell "protect" at it in Elmoni.
Okay.
That's what stopped the scorpion before.
Oh,
Okay.
I see the train of thought.
So a few do start to come over when you're working on when you guys are working on the gate.
So I shoot one.
Okay.
Yeah, let's speak of money.
Make
I
a
try out the shout protect at one of them.
Gwen can make an attack roll, and that'll hit, and it starts to turn red. She got it way before it reached you guys, so it explodes harmlessly, 20 feet away. Yelling protect at the second one does nothing, and it continues to scramble forward towards you.
She'll try to
Okay,
shoot it.
Blast.
All right.
Okay.
Eldritch Blast.
Sacred Flame. Basically, I'm just going to be popping these things.
I think there's enough of you that
Yeah,
you can get
they're
these
just gonna
guys before they.
pick them off.
Oh, whoops! I accidentally did two.
Okay.
Do you have your second beam yet? You should
I
have
do
your
not,
second
I
beam
just-
by now.
Oh, I think I
That's
get it on
fifth level.
Yeah, that's fifth level.
Really? All right.
Yeah, I pressed
eventually-
it once and it didn't show up in chat, so I pressed it again, and now two are in chat. So that's
Yeah, sometimes it takes a moment just because any rolls actually communicate directly with the server on Roll20 side.
Okay.
So if there's any bit of lag on their end or overload, it's gonna take a moment. And like you can tell when you hover over a roll. Actually, maybe it didn't do it for yours. Yeah, so if you hover over Gwen's roll, you see that like quantum symbol in front. And then if you hover over Ambrose's, there isn't that. The quantum symbol means it's rolling off of a Roll20 server.
Oh.
It's using variations in light to determine the outcome.
Oh, that's right. You were telling us about they use like lasers or something to determine.
Yeah. To make it more random than a computer program. Okay. Eventually, you get the. Oh, how were you doing this with the bars?
Well,
on the gate?
I was waiting to see if you could pick the lock.
Oh, I was gonna try and mage hand with Jaxar.
Okay. Yeah, you can pull over. The ingots are pretty heavy.
Well,
The
like,
adamantine ones.
Can we like double team them and like both take an end with both our
Jaxar's
mage
not
hands?
in here with us.
Yeah, Jaxar's
No,
not here.
he's in the map room.
I thought he just sent the bird.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's a reasonable use. So yeah, you can both mage hand to get stuff out.
Shouldn't you be trying the chests? They might be more likely to have a key or a gem.
Well, yeah.
I look at him and said, the goal is to open the gate. I can't be more clear than that.
Why do we need to open the gate?
To get the
So much.
adamantium.
She
Yep.
yells at you from the battle box.
Oh. All right. Fine. I'll just stay sentry.
It's
I
a
mean,
reasonable question.
You're the sharpshooter here.
Well, and
say-
it would make more sense so that we can just go in and go through everything rather than picking
Yeah,
up
you're right.
one
All right,
at a
that's right.
time.
I go to pick the lock.
The thing is, we don't know where the key to these wagons is, and it may be in one of the locked cases inside the room.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
So I'm going to
That's
pick
where I'm
it.
trying to get inside. That's why.
That's why I did not pick the lock.
Plus, which it gives Johnny access to all of that adamantium and mithril.
Which is going in the bag.
Oh, Johnny's going to have a scrap metal junkyard in that bag of holding.
That's
You were-
definitely not.
There's also 800 silver pieces in that bag, just FYI,
Nice.
Yeah.
and a child skeleton. You work at the lock for a while. It takes a few minutes. You struggle at times, but eventually you get a click and it pops open.
Hell yeah. All right. Let's enter the cage.
Okay, you enter the cage. It is as described.
Start looking. I start first thing we do really is start looking around for that that key.
Yes. Okay.
That is
Uh,
actually I'm not in here to actually raid. I'm actually in here to look for the key. Raiding is secondary, but gonna happen as he drinks his beer.
Are the chests locked as well?
they are, but you can work at them and get them unlocked pretty easily. There's 2 of them, and then uh, there are 5 adamantine ingots and 3 mithril ones.
Oh, so just more adamantium. Okay.
Also, how big are like the chests in there?
They're like a foot and a half by a foot and a half wide by like 8 inches tall and like 6 inches deep.
How many adamantium ingots you said?
5.
5.
And mithril was 3.
Yes.
I'm just putting them in my
Inventory.
yeah.
And yeah, inventory. Inside the first chest, after you jimmy the lock open,
Yep.
You find 2 sapphires of size similar to what you think that the battle mech needs, the battle wagon.
I look over it. I look over it and go, bingo.
Bingo.
Let's see what else we got in here.
Do we have a mimic?
I would love to fight him.
Johnny just kind of glares at you and pulls out his mace.
The,
You had to say it.
the sapphires are actually mimics. Inside the
Shut
segment,
up!
you find 3 much smaller sapphires than the first 2. Similarly shaped.
Between the chest and just the room in general, how much of mithril and adamantium did we get?
5 ingots and 5 adamantium ingots, 3 mithril ingots, and I'm actually going to be using if unless anyone has some significant issue, I'm going to be using that. I want to use that stuff to make everyone better gear.
Yeah, that's the point, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's what I was going to be using it for.
Each
And I would
ingot
like,
is about 26 pounds.
yeah, I've got a bag of holding, so I don't care.
No,
think
I
the
wasn't
bag-
saying for the weight. I want you to note it so you know how much material you have to work with.
Okay, thank you.
That was between just the room in general and the chest. Was the 5 and the whatever else?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was a very small
that's
room.
that's a ton of material. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. That's a
Yes.
shit. That's a load of material. My God.
Couple hundred pounds, yeah.
Mithril armor, adamantium armor. Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
I'm still poking around the bodies, whether I'm finding much or not. I'm just
Right.
Well, actually, Johnny's gonna. Althea,
yeah.
when we're done in here, I'm gonna come and help you. Would you do me a favor and please start lining up bodies for me?
Of course.
Thank you.
Searching through the bodies, I mean, it's pretty much workers that you're finding. Whoever was in charge got out because they're not armored. They don't have weapons. They have basic tools and don't hold like keys or anything like that.
Would it be a fair assumption that one of the dwarves in the hallway, one of the dead dwarves in the hallway, may have been the foreman?
Yeah, I'm right. It would be fair to think that there would be one down here, but you don't find one.
Okay.
Is this room like sealed off? Like besides the lifts up, or are there other doors, or was it part of the collapse?
There was a hallway out, but that area is collapsed.
Gotcha. Okay. Besides this room and the bodies and the 2 doom machines, is there anything else of note in the room?
No. The one doom wagon and the one chassis.
I think we're good to head back up after Johnny does whatever he's going to do with the bodies.
Do you want to see if one of those fits in the slot?
Yep.
Yes.
What, the bodies? I mean, that ballista.
No. The
we have ammo for the
the
ballista.
sapphires.
Yes, yes. Okay. So you put it in. It fits perfectly. One of the larger ones does. One of the two that you have.
Mm-hmm. I try to get started again, I guess.
Okay. You work on it, and after playing with the gears, knobs, dials, and pedals, you figure out a way to turn it on. And it jostles you, but as it shudders to life,
Vroom, vroom.
Johnny, do any of
and
these
you
tools look
accelerate
useful
forward.
to you?
No.
What was that,
No.
Althea?
We'll wait on
Do
that
any
one.
of these tools look useful or of any value to you?
I don't know. Jacob, do any of any of these dwarven tools have any intrinsic value other than historical?
They're quite old. Much of it is rusted, but you find a couple good pieces in there.
Okay, yeah. If for nothing else, historical value of these specific pieces. Question for you. Somehow I get the feeling that dwarves are not a really big thing in this world anymore. Is that true, or is it just that we haven't run across that many?
That's pretty true. Aside from Grimsley, you haven't seen much in your life. Um, Grimsley and anyone in your past that hasn't happened in session, of course.
Okay. Okay.
This-
So, got it. So, yeah, I mean, there's some good pieces in here, but yeah, if you don't mind, I'll keep these for historic value, and some of them are definitely useful. Yes,
Uh,
but and I will help lay out all the bodies for last rites
Okay.
because I'm quite sure they weren't given them. They all just died horribly of lack of nutrition, starvation.
Yes. In fact, you do find some bodies that look like they didn't die of natural causes, and
Yeah, they're probably
there may have been some.
turned into sandwiches, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible, but yeah. So I will help out there, lay them all out, and then I will spend the time to use ceremony, and in dwarvish, give them all um, last rites and passage into what I understand from the histories that I know, the best equivalent that I can give them of um, peace and final rest.
Okay.
I know it's not going to be proper to what they knew because they're centuries old, but it's the best I can do.
Sure. Centuries to millennia
Yeah,
old.
but
yeah.
it is the best I can do, and it's what Johnny does.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
But mostly it's just asking the maker to make home and hearth for them at his forge, and to find these workers a place so that they can continue their trade in the afterlife and find purpose, so that they can continue to know purpose and duty.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. That's it. What?
Nothing. Making them work in the afterlife.
No,
No rest for the wicked.
that's fucked up.
Okay.
No rest for the weary. Okay. So during that, the battle wagon would have moved up, and then of course you guys would have discussed on the surface that Johnny was still down there performing the rites,
Oh,
and
I'm
sent
still
the
down there
battle
with him.
wagon back down.
Yeah, I'm still down there with him.
And then
You
where
should probably
everything is,
take a, you should probably take a level of cleric by this point.
Uh,
And then after everything is all over, you guys resurface on top
Yep.
with the battle wagon, humming away.
Cool. We got a hoopty.
We can drive to the mountains.
Oh,
Maybe.
it goes 5 feet per round, so
Seriously.
no.
Battle hoopty.
That was what I was thinking of earlier, though, when you're like, is this even going to be worth it? I'm like, what if it only went like 10, 15 feet around? Like, everyone would hate it so much.
We're really freaking slow.
5 miles an hour at max.
I can get a long rest in while we move.
Exactly. That's
I-
the whole point.
Yeah, and you actually, in messing with the first compartment where people, or where dwarves can be like situated, you do find ways to reconfigure things so that there are like sleeping bunks at times, or you can turn into better seating. Like,
Can we mess with the height?
no, you
Can
cannot.
we remove the middle floor?
That might make it tough for the upstairs armaments and the pilots.
You can turn it into there's a way to turn bits into like a table so that you can eat. But yeah, it's like a self-contained vehicle that will allow you to long distance travel. it
Can we
seems.
paint flowers and peace signs on the outside?
I just want to.
Tentacles.
I want to. I want to paint a kanji for serenity on the side.
Right?
It-
And the
Yeah.
ohm
Yes.
Yeah,
symbol?
yeah, I had the same thought.
If you can find some paint, sure. Not a lot of
Let's make it
paint out here in the wastes.
Don't we just
This is
use the blood of
taken-
our enemies?
Such
Oh
a
my
Oh.
long-
god. What are we,
As you-
Reavers?
As you paint serenity on the side in the blood of your enemies.
I
Spider guts.
mean, they're pretty serene.
Doppelganger
Emperor
goo.
rolls to play a flaming guitar on the roof as we drive.
Wow.
Witness me.
All right, so are we heading to the
Mad
mountains?
Max now?
Yeah.
Lovely day.
Good lord.
What a lovely day.
So heading for the mountains.
Yes, please.
This is
the
taking such a
glacier.
weird turn, and I love it.
Guys,
We
have a moving headquarters. This
Guys,
is so bad.
we've got an RV.
Yes, we do.
With the dwarf ballista.
Oh, does this bad boy have an awning on him?
No, not yet.
Dude,
I
we've
feel like
got
there-
a
there
dwarf.
might
Properly
be-
erect one.
Guys, we have a dwarf firing ballista. All we need are some dwarves.
Mhm.
Ugh.
There's not a lot around, so
Yeah,
you're gonna
they're
have
all
limited
dead.
ammo.
And we had to leave the ones down there behind because I blessed them. Sorry.
We got
Moving in real time.
Be
we
sorry.
got Fox back, right?
we left the bird.
Yeah, we have everyone.
He's just sitting there hitting the button every 5 minutes. Like, I don't understand.
Oh god, Jackson's gonna come back and go, wait a minute, we have what? We have a tank?
We have a
Ah,
And Johnny found what?
I just realized that Guy Fawkes died in the last session.
Oh. Well shit.
Wait, what? What?
Anyways,
No, he can like re-summon him, can't he?
yeah, he can. He just needs the material. So as you travel west, away from the tower towards the mountains,
I have such a for Guy Fawkes.
you'll pass. It's pass along the blackened ground, and to the south, 4 of you see again that tower that has the red light on top. Storm and lightning surround it.
Like an eye?
No, but we did talk about that last time.
No Eye of Sauron, please.
Thank you for coming with me on that.
The battle wagon moves at a 35 feet a pace, 35 feet per round. So it's a bit faster than walking, but not, you're not speeding along.
Not as fast as horses, but
Right.
horses don't grant cover.
It's
Generally, you
It's
can get a
fast
horse to
for-
grant you cover.
It's
Horses don't
fast
have
for a dwarf.
ballistas either.
That's true. You could put a ballista on it. It would be a small ballista, but
Anyway,
It'd just be a crossbow.
eventually you'll come to a bit of a badlands area with high rock formations in a low valley.
let's go
Um,
around this.
Okay.
So
You see a bunch of headstones inside with giant centipedes crawling over them, but
there's-
you wouldn't be able to fit the battle wagon through. So going around.
Wait, quick question. Before you said we only had 3 boulders. Are you meaning, is it a ballista or is it an arbalist?
There's a
So
ballista
there's
and there's a catapult.
a catapult
Oh.
on the second level
On the
outside,
second, okay, never mind.
and then the
So it's
ballista is
dwar-
in
so the
the first level, in the front.
It's internal loaded external fire through a basically through a portal.
So it's a tank, okay.
I was thinking like a scorpion with the catapult that
Mm-hmm.
reminiscent of like the stinger,
Yeah.
and then the
Is it like a
ballista is like
trebuchet?
its pincers. No, it's not a trebuchet. It's a catapult.
Dude, trebuchet, come on.
Maybe you'll find a Mark
Okay.
V. Who knows?
Use some of
Yeah.
that ink. Build us one.
Maybe we'll find a Mark V. Okay.
Eventually, you'll come to some rolling hills. The battle wagon is able to traverse them well enough. There are these deadened trees of enormous height. Think like California redwoods, but black and dead with no leaves.
Johnny, are you sleeping?
No, actually, he's making armor.
Okay, so he's not taking a long rest.
And
Oh yeah. Ambrose
Actually,
is
good
taking
idea.
rest,
Yes.
Did he take a nap?
and he is grooving in that passenger seat. Like he's got his feet up on the dash. He's got the window down, sunglasses on.
Actually, that's a good idea. Yeah, Johnny should actually be resting right now.
What's this?
Same
What are
for
sunglasses?
Jaxar.
And as you move through these dead trees towards the mountain itself, the mountain range, you will come across a solitary hut. It's wood
Run
with
it
a thatch roof.
Turn it over.
There are
This
no
is-
lights inside.
Okay, this is not the same place as the maggoty meat hut.
This is the
Ah.
same place.
You see scores on the outside as if by like a giant pincers.
So is it the same place?
Yes.
It looks familiar,
Okay.
unless there's a second solitary hut out here in the wastes.
Okay.
I don't know. Wastes are a good place for solitary huts.
Yeah, you're
You
not gonna
were-
find like a group of huts.
Yeah, I don't think you were with us the first time that we came to this solitary hut.
No,
There
I
was
have
a
to,
there was
uh,
rather a crazy old man living here who was infected by the tree, and he's the one who showed us the red bulbs in the mountains. But the food that he served us was,
Heinous.
let's just say, I'm glad I had a strong stomach that night.
It was heinous. It was maggoty. It was bad.
It wasn't food.
It was
Ugh.
nightmare fuel.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he got taken out by the Jub Jub birds in the mountains.
And we were so sad. So very sad.
Sitting here in the foothills, you don't think that this Doom engine is gonna be able to traverse the mountain.
So we park it here, take the power source with us, so that no one can wander off with it.
Did I get
What
a
time
long
of
rest
day
out
is
of
it?
this?
I was asked two things simultaneously. What was that?
I asked, did I get a long rest out of this?
Oh, I thought you were making armor.
No, I was waiting. Because Tara had said, am I resting? I said, yeah, I actually need to.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah, you'll get a long rest out.
Yeah,
Okay.
presumably same for Jaxar because he was way down, so he
Yeah, you
needed
can.
it.
Yeah.
He needed the rest.
That is far more important than making armor at this point.
And my question was, what time of day is it?
At this point, as you're nearing as you get to the base of the mountains, it's gonna be night, or close to it.
I would suggest that we continue to shelter in the battle wagon, or we can shelter in the hut. But we definitely need to not be outside.
Battle wagon. It's got clang, clang, clang. Yeah, battle wagon.
Okay.
Yeah, Ambrose would also rather stay in the battle wagon. He doesn't like the look of this neighborhood, he says, looking at the one solitary hut for miles.
Well, and I'm trying. So Althea would remember the critters that we saw out in the dark and describe them Like, yeah.
I'd rather stay in the giant metal death machine if that's all cool with y'all.
Yeah.
Do you remember what that was, or do you want me to tell them?
Please, because Tara's not remembering, but Althea would have.
Also, Althea, when she was out here, saw giant scorpions that were the size of like a horse that came
Oh.
and scoped out the hut and like gashed its sides.
Well, Mark made us scared and hungry.
I would suggest let's park as close to the hut as we can. Just so that we have, if we have to transfer from one shelter to the other, we can without being exposed for long.
That makes sense.
Can you back it up so the ramp's near the front door, Tonist?
If I back it up, yes.
Yeah, you can do that easily.
Cool.
You'll need someone to help you spot, since you don't have great visibility behind you. But working together, you're able to do it.
And I'm actually
Beep,
going to
beep.
go. I'm going to go check inside the hut and make sure that nothing else bad has taken up residence.
Okay. Then we will stop there
Cool.
Nice.
as
We got
Althea opens the door to the hut.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, she's not by herself. If she tells us
No, I
that's
mean,
what she's doing.
Yeah, I imagine you guys lowered the ramp and she's near the door and you guys are nearby as well. It's not like you were like,
Sure.
sucks
We'll
to
go
be
with
you.
that.
It's like after a long road trip, everybody like gets out and just kind of stretches, just
Yeah.
for the sake of.
Yeah, but it's not quite night, so the scorpions shouldn't be there yet.
Yeah, there's a scorpion living
theory.
inside. He invites you for dinner. Dinner's you, by the way.
Naturally. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I saw a
Alright.
meme earlier today regarding bad neighborhoods and I can't find it now. Alright, I may post something in like an hour or two, depending on how easy it is to find. Alright, later on, guys.
All right. See ya.
Take it easy,
Thanks.
folks. Have a good one.
Bye.
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 I will